Hey guys, welcome to Get Busy Watching. I'm your host, Honest Dan. Let's talk movies.
Relax, be cool, cause if you don't, you'll act like a fool, so be cool.
I feel I've been clear on where I stand when it comes to Megan Fox, but just in case, I'm going to make that point clear again, this time in front of my new green screen, and pretend that I haven't actually made this point clear yet. Once upon a time in 2007, Transformers came out, and with it, the knockout bombshell, Megan Denise Fox, and set the world and many a pants on fire. She was huge from the late 2000s to the mid-2010s. I have to confess here, I was one of the many who judged her. I wanted to like Megan because I thought she did a fair job in the first Transformers flick and saw potential. I was eager to see what else she would do in the future. But then that stardust blew away when I started seeing or reading interviews of her where she would say things like, "Yeah, I'm typecast, but I like that." This seemed to be reflected in her movie choices too. I mean, look at this. How to Lose Your Friends and Alienate People? She played the hot actress. The second Transformers movie ramped up her sexiness and highly objectified her.
My name.
What are you allowing to happen to your foot just now?
Reese's faithful, Sam.
Jennifer's Body? She played the hot cheerleader. Jonah Hex played the hot prostitute. This Is 40 played the hot girl. Now, to be fair, I cannot find these interviews or articles, so for all I know, I'm distorting my own memories. Maybe it was a bogus headline that I warped into a narrative that reinforced what I thought of her. Or maybe, and dare I admit this, maybe these interviews and articles don't exist and I'm just pulling them out of my ass just to be a hater. I truly don't know. But then some really disturbing stuff started cropping up about Megan's marriage to Brian Austin Green. I was reading shit, something on the lines of how she was told to act, what to say, all in some subtle way to make him look better or something to that effect. Once again, I can't find these articles, so there's a strong possibility they don't exist, and like I already mentioned, how I might be making this stuff up. But I knew something was wrong, and though slow on the uptake, I realized I was wrong about her. More recent articles that I can find perfectly encapsulated this. Since 2016, the second Ninja Turtles movie was pretty much the last time anyone saw of Megan on the big screen. Since then, she went the Bruce Willis and Nicolas Cage route by starring in, rather terrible movies that no one's seen or cares about. On any other day, I wouldn't either. But the vitriol that I felt like I had for Megan, how judgy I was toward her back then, I felt and still feel pretty freaking awful about it. As my own form of self-penance, I've decided to support Megan's work and do my best to keep an eye out for her latest movies. I've not always been kind to said movies. I mean, I'm still gonna give my honest opinion about them, but I'm at least giving them a fair shake. Which brings us here. I've actually been meaning to check this out for quite some time now, so I'm happy that I finally got to. I have to admit, I went in with some pretty low expectations. Early buzz was making it out to be like a Gerald's Game, but kind of on a budget, or just worse. Basically the story of a dead husband that she's trying to deal with, but is otherwise tied up in some way. Kind of, strange for me to have low expectations then because I've never seen Gerald's Game. I heard it was good. One of the better Stephen King adaptations. So, how does it hold up to those expectations? This is my honest opinion of Till Death. Emma, played by Megan Fox, is in an unhappy marriage to a rich and powerful husband, Mark, played by Owen Mackin, and has been having an affair with his co-worker, Tom, played by Amal Amin. On her marriage anniversary, Mark takes Emma on a romantic getaway to a remote lake house, and everything seems fine at first. Until she wakes up the next morning, handcuffed to Mark, and shoots himself in the head, and has apparently taken to extreme measures in making sure that she couldn't easily leave. The matter is made all the worse when it turns out that a psychotic killer, played by Callan Mulvey, has found her and is after something in the house that he believes Emma can help him get.
But that's the guy that hired us. The lawyer that put you away.
Yeah, we found common ground.
Bobby, what the fuck are we still doing here then?
Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you my new favorite Megan Fox movie. I think it's a really solid flick. It had me worried for a bit because the opening dialogue is so cringe, it will send an icy chill down your spine. It feels like it's something straight out of a bad soap opera.
I've been thinking about you all week. Can't get you out of my mind.
I've been thinking about you too.
That is some clunky writing, y'all, and I was bracing myself for a pretty awful time.
You're so beautiful.
It's only because I'm so in love.
No. No, it's because I'm so in love with you.
Gross. That's the grossest sentence I've ever heard, okay?
Thankfully, things pick up almost right away as Emma drives away from her fancy boy and has this incredibly guilty look on her face. Who says Fox can't act? In the restaurant, we get an eyeful of why Emma has been cheating on Mark. Now, usually, I'm the kind of bloke who says cheating is not cool. I imagine like most well-adjusted people. But after seeing what Mark does, it's like, nah, I get it. An anniversary where they both said they're not doing gifts. She gives him one, but he completely shoots it down. Oh, but she's downright expected to like his gift. And to make matters worse, he's driving for an hour with her having a blindfold on. I mean, I'm surprised that she committed for so long. I would have torn that thing off after 10 minutes. But that thought goes away when Jerkwad does this.
I'm not doing this. I can't do it. I feel car sick. I'm taking it off. I don't.
Stop.
Oh, bro, I would have decked you and hung you with that blindfold if it were me.
Stupid man thing!
Now, I have to admit, the entire trigger, pun intended, that sets Emma on her harrowing game of survival did kind of take me by surprise, actually. Personally, I assumed that this would be a story about the killers coming into their home to kill Mark and leave Emma cuffed to him and she's left to die or something. Nope! I was way off!
It's time to wake up.
From this point on, I was slowly getting into the rhythm that was being set up. Every single thing that popped into my head, like, get a phone and call someone. I'm about ready to think she's not gonna do that, but a few seconds later, that's exactly what she does. Get in the car with his corpse and drive on out of there. These are things that Emma tries and the movie has an answer to it. It's smart enough to make sure that the easiest bases are covered. The landlines are cut, the cell phones are broken, gas has been siphoned out of the cars, the revolver that Mark used to kill himself only had one bullet, and he used that on himself. Any and all tools that might be useful in getting her free have been hidden, so it's a pretty freaking great setup. Plus, some added bonus obstacles, like the tools that are normally in the basement. Of course she has to drag Mark's corpse with her. When she sees that the tools are gone, that means, you guessed it, she has to drag that corpse back upstairs. Here's the thing though, Emma is no Colleen Foch, so it's a bit of a struggle for her.
You fucking hypocrite! How many fucking times did I wash lipstick and glitter off of your fucking shirts?
But it doesn't end there. The story keeps building on itself and gets more layered as it progresses. At first, you think this is literally just some sick game for Mark. Too jealous of her affair, which he knew about, didn't want to live with and didn't want her to live with it either by basically torturing her with no way out. So you're probably thinking, but why? Why is this the route that Mark goes? A dude like this, he would have done pretty much everything that did happen here, but Emma would be cuffed to a dead Tom, and he's just watching her from across the frozen lake through a telescope or something. Gotta say, that would have been an awesomely sick movie too. But then, as the saying goes, the plot thickens. Turns out that Mark used Emma's phone and texted Tom to come by the lake house, who reveals that the police came by Mark's office to arrest him for tampering with evidence. He's a defense lawyer, by the way. Aha, so that's why he committed suicide.
This fuckstay knew his entire career was going down the drain, and so he's just trying to drag me down too.
This I believed. Rich and successful jerkwad dudes whose lives are about to end because they were cheating a system generally don't want to do that pesky peasant thing of taking responsibility. A lot of math was adding up.
Keep going.
Then, the survival drama gets turned on its head and suddenly becomes a home invasion movie, complete with the invader being a stalker from Emma's past, 10 years ago. Yup, these guys were hired by Mark, though they didn't know it was specifically Mark who hired them until they found his body, to steal some of his diamonds in a locked safe. Well, Mark's dead, so the only person left who might know the combination to the safe is Emma. While certain real-world metrics would have given her away plenty of times, like fabric grazing her skin, and even the quietest of movements are still audible, some of these moments where she survives and evades these baddies are truly clever.
Why couldn't you sit back and watch you live happily ever after? With him? Happy anniversary, pumpkin.
Negatives! I know! Sadly, there are a couple things worth talking about. My first big problem was that it was never made clear how or when Mark knew that the police were after him. I could probably guess that the entirety of keeping Emma trapped in the middle of a frozen hellscape was always part of the plan, but there's no moment where Mark is informed that the police were looking for him, or for that matter, who tipped him off. Pretty sure it wasn't Tom, as he had to piece things together himself when he showed up.
Shit, the raid.
The what?
Last night, the DA raided the entire office. They placed charges against Mark. Evidence of tampering on multiple cases, so I tried to call you.
But it had to have been after he and Emma made love while she was asleep. I mean, the sheer lengths the guy went through. Trashing the phones, cutting the landlines, siphoning gas from the cars, fake texting Tom, hiring the former stalker, just everything. I can't imagine how long all of that could have taken. And during the middle of the night? Without this clarification, I can imagine that there's a fair number of critics out there that wouldn't be able to get past this, and I wouldn't exactly blame them. It's a pretty big question mark, and no one seems to ask this in the movie.
I'm gonna cut myself free of you if it's the last thing I do.
There's also frustrating tropes that rear their ugly little faces into this otherwise really good movie. Them being dumb character choices and plot contrivances. There are so many obvious moments where if the bad guys just used their thinking brains and just looked a teensy bit harder, they would have had Emma dead to rights. This happens more than a couple times and isn't what I would consider proper tension building. I believe the phrase is plot armor. But we have to have something pull them away because the plot doesn't need this confrontation right this second. It's not as consistent as I'm probably making it sound, but it happens just enough so that it irritated me enough to talk about it in my review.
All right, I'll get the body and you find the girl.
Fuck you, man.
Quick spoilers ahead. If you don't want them, jump to this time code. Just a little theory that I'm going to throw out there. I'm willing to bet my bottom dollar that there are no diamonds in that necklace. I do not believe that Mark would actually compensate these douche nozzles for killing Emma. I don't know, something about screwing him over would just be too glorious for him to consider. He knew about his history with Emma and knew the man was mentally deranged. Mark probably played into that just to lure him out to the lake house. He has a personal vendetta against Emma, so it wouldn't be a problem for him to behead her for the diamonds in the necklace. But if he found out that there were no diamonds, then he would have just murdered Emma for pretty much no reason, other than the obvious blaming her for putting him in prison for 10 years. That just seems like right up Mark's alley. Something fun to think about. I don't care what the naysayers say. I think this is a pretty awesome movie. Brilliant setup, deliciously messed up plot, edgier drama, and a bit of dry humor that Megan delivers really well. And Megan herself carries this film in such a way that I never would have expected out of her. And all I have to say about that is...
hell, it's about time.
Is it a perfect flick? No. I imagine that this has a few problems that will spoil the experience for some viewers. And I can't exactly say that they're wrong. I hate it when other movies do it. I sure don't appreciate it when it's done here. But for me, because everything surrounding those problems is so gripping and good, and Megan delivering one of her best performances, if not her straight up best performance of her entire career, man, with all that going for it, I really don't care about the negatives that much. Guys, this gets my highest endorsement. I can't recommend it enough. I truly hope you'll give it a chance. My honest rating for Till Death, a strong 4 out of 5.
Do you really think that he sent you that text so you could come here and you could save me? Call the police!
Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Stay safe and healthy out there. Hope to see you soon. One final caveat as you guys move on with your day, I've decided to test my luck at a Patreon, so please consider supporting the channel. No obligations, of course, no content is gated off, but any and all contributions would mean a lot. Link in the description. Have a great one, folks.